Happy Halloween from Patrick. Anyway, hi. As you can see, I'm wearing my rakish hat. I have my little orange tie. I'm wearing all black. You can't really see that, but I'm wearing all black other than my rakish hat and my orange tie. And I'm here today to talk to you about Chapter 9, which is all about intimate relationships. But first, let's define what intimate relationship means. When you hear the word intimate, what do you think of? Go ahead, pause the video, and write down a few thoughts right now about what you think of when you hear the word intimate relationships. I'll wait. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and now you're back. And I want you to look at those words that you chose. A lot of times when people hear the word intimate relationships, they think of things like sexual relationship or perhaps romantic relationships. And this is where we're going to diverge a little bit because intimate relationships are not just about sex or about even relationships between people who are romantically involved with each other. Intimate relationships, as the book describes them, are just deeper than social relationships. Social relationships are friendships. Intimate relationships go deeper, and it might be romantic partnerships, but it also is our family and people that we consider to be our family. And that's primarily what we're going to talk about today is family. Now, to illustrate this, I'm going to show you a family. This is the Papermate family of pens. And as you can see, each pen is a different color. But they do make up a family, and the family comes together and they do things together. And there are really three ways that families can be families. Now, they all have the Papermate name, but that doesn't mean that they all are families because of the same thing. And so let's talk about the three ways families can become families. The first way that families become families is through genetics. And as you can see right here, this is Papa Papermate. He is a slightly purple pinkish Papermate pen, and he had a son, and that was Junior Papermate. Now, Papa is the actual biological father of Junior Papermate. But ideally, they are also beyond just genetics. They're playing the roles that they should be playing for each other. But that doesn't always happen. Genetically, they might be father and son, but perhaps they're not in the long run. So that's Papa Papermate and his son Junior. That is a genetic tie. That is the first of the three types, genetic ties. The second is legal obligations. See, Papa here is married to Mama Papermate. So this is Papa, this is Mama. They are married to each other, and they have legal obligations to each other because they are married to each other. They pay taxes based on their relationship. They're able to enter into various agreements together because they are married. Now, they also decided to adopt Blue here. This is Blue Papermate. Little Blue is not biologically related to them, but they adopted Blue because they wanted to have another child. And so, as you can see, they've adopted Blue and now have legal obligations to Blue. They also still have legal obligations to Junior Papermate over here because as their child, they have to provide for that person, make sure they're cared for, and so forth. So the second of the three ways that families become families is through legal obligations. So we have first a genetic obligation. That is the genetic obligation that Mama and Papa have here with Junior. And then we have legal obligations. That's the obligations that Mama and Papa have to each other, as well as to their son, as well as to their adopted child as well. And the final is a role behavior. Now, over here, we have the Statler. They call him Uncle Statler. As you can see, he looks a little different than the Papermates. He doesn't have the Papermate logo and is a different kind of pen altogether. Is actually the kind of pen where you take the cap off as opposed to the type of pen where you click. And what this means is that this is Uncle Statler. Uncle Statler is not biologically related to any of the papermates and is also not necessarily have any legal obligation to the papermates. Really, he's just a close friend of the family that they all call uncle because that's the role he plays. He comes and he gives gifts and he hangs out. He's there for all the holidays. He is a close friend and he has a role behavior that he takes up, which is an uncle-like behavior. So as we can see, the third third way a family becomes a family is through role behaviors. Not all three always exist at the same time, but they can. So for example, again, we have Papa Papermate here. Papa has a genetic role here. He's genetically related to Junior. He has a legal obligation, and he's also playing the role of father. But sometimes in families, there's maybe the mom or dad leave the family and they're no longer playing the role. Maybe brothers and sisters don't play the role of brother and sister to each other, and these different things can happen. So, just to recap, there are three things that make a family a family. The first is genetic role, the actual genes, the biological element of families. The second is legal obligations, and that is having a legal some way to legally bind you to the person or persons that you have the intimate family role with. And the third is through role behaviors. And role behaviors is where we go outside the bounds of just family that we consider traditionally, like blood roots or by law. And these could be anybody. Now, it also could still be all three. So, to be clear, all three can exist all at the same time, but they don't necessarily have to. Only one of these needs to exist to call that person a member of your family. So somebody might be genetically your parent, but they have no role in your life, and they've given up all legal obligations, in which case all they are is genetically your parent, and somebody else is taking on the role of parent instead. Anyway, that's my explanation of the three ways that families become a family. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day.